What the heck? What the heck? What the heck? What the heck?
Huh?
What the heck?
What?
Who's this guy? I'm used to seeing 420 blazing and Dead on Always. Who is this man?
Man, I'm tired today. It's been a long one.
It's been a long day. It's been a long week. Good thing this is the
It's been a long month. It's been a long year. It's been a long decade. It's been a long uh, life.
yeah.
It's been a long century. It's been a long millennium. It's been a long era. It's been a long.
Bro, what's bigger than era? Like period? Are periods bigger than eras?
Yeah, I think periods are bigger than eras.
Okay, yeah,
Like,
I'm gonna agree with that.
what era is like the Jurassic period? Like the Jurassic period's a period, not an era, right? Or is it an era?
I mean, it's the Jurassic period.
So what era is it in?
I don't Bronchiosaurus era where Bronchiosauruses reigned supreme, dabbing on T-Rexes that lived for like 20 years comparatively because they're little bitches that have no hands. I was waiting for the Google plugs. Anyway, it's the dreary week. I've had clouds over me for the last 5 days in a row. I'm living the Seattle life the last 5 days. Man, I want to kill myself. Wow. Who the fuck chooses this? Anyway, it's been a long week, and I'm gonna start off with something a little bit different. I'm gonna start off with why I'm upset with science right now.
Okay.
I am upset with science because I am slowly coming to the realization that most of any scientific research boils down to like 5 or 6 things that you did in high school. And here's why. Here is why I'm going to explain this. And of course it doesn't count like machine learning and like new stuff. But got a new project that's sliding in, like one of those like weekly projects that you just kind of help out with for a little bit. So basically, the short term is that we're putting a transducer on both ends of a pipe.
Trans what?
A transducer. It's
What is
like
that?
a little acoustic device that sends and can receive small signals.
Okay.
So what we're going to do is we're going to fill the pipe up with different liquids, and using the Doppler effect, you are supposed to be able to take that data that you receive and calculate the material's density. Now, of course, what's the first thing that we start doing? Start gathering up different liquids that have different densities. And of course, the first thing that I think of is that image that you saw in your high school chemistry, whatever, science book. I don't even know, maybe probably earlier than that. And this one that I'm sending you now is the first thing I thought of. And I'm like, damn, I don't like this.
Oh,
I'm like, motherfuck, I'm in my mid-20s doing a stupid ass scientific experiment on density. So I immediately thought of the honey. I'm like, you know what? Gotta get a bunch of honey. Gotta get a bunch of like I was thinking rubbing alcohol, but whatever. I used like a 70% isopropyl, which is just like a cleaning solution, like a sterilizing solution. But it's about the same. It's like 3/4 the density of water, and then honey is like 1.4 times the density of water. So, broad spectrum, and that's the small experiment that we're doing this week. That's why I'm upset with science, is that all of the experiments you do They boil down into the simplest terms, and it's like high school or middle school all over again. I'm unhappy with this one.
Wait, so what's the purpose of this? Like, why are you doing it?
We're supposed to demonstrate that you can calculate the density of fluids that are inside the pipe. Now, if you're asking like what the application of that is, honestly, this shit all just boils down to fucking helping oil companies. I'm shit you not. Like that's what literally all this boils down to. I mean, oil energy companies. The biggest one is the reactor types that I've said before, but that's like most, like 90% of what it all boils down to is helping the Department of Energy calculate very fine liquid properties instantaneously, like continuously in the real time. So that's what we're doing with this, and that's yeah, a lot of
That's
fun.
it's cool because like the whole idea behind it actually sounds pretty interesting. But yeah, like you're saying, when you actually get down to it and start doing the experiments, it's like, oh yeah, I did this like 10 years ago.
Yeah, I learned about this in my stupid ass middle school textbook, which was like a coloring book for kids.
Yeah.
So we got a bunch of honey, we got a bunch of rubbing alcohol, and I was, honestly, the funniest thing is like once we started suggesting liquids, it was just like, oh shit, well, what are we gonna think of? Oh, I don't know. Like there's no real. I'm like, oh, we can go. I pulled up like a document online that has a bunch of densities of liquids, but most of them are like highly toxic chemicals or like this shit will burn your skin. I'm like, okay, let's not use those. And like rubbing alcohol, that's good enough, or it's safe enough where you could just empty that out. Um, but then the rest of it is like motor oil, power steering fluid, like automotive section of Walmart, like just anything in the antifreeze. That's one that we picked up. So I'm just like, yeah, great. This is the stupidest trip to Walmart of my life, and I made sure to get it on one receipt so that like I can get reimbursed for buying this stupid shit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
How much you dish out at Walmart for all this stupid shit?
I actually only bought the honey and the rubbing alcohol. My
Oh, like
advisor.
$6.
No, the honey is expensive, man. Are you kidding me with this in this economy? I mean, here's the thing.
How's the honey meta?
Just on the basis of how big our pipe is and how how much we want to test, you have to get 54 fluid ounces of each liquid. So that's a lot of honey. I mean, that's a lot of honey. The one I think altogether was like $35 of honey, and I was not going to buy corn syrup just out of pure spite. The rubbing alcohol I think was actually cheaper. That shit's like nothing. That shit's like that shit was like $4 because it's just like cleaning solution.
Well, I imagine it's also probably like some kind of industrial byproduct. Like it has to be easy to get.
Yeah, it's the chemical. Like you have to have a massive amount of chemical production of it. My advisor got a bunch of corn oil and a bunch of like two of the automotive, like one antifreeze and one, I want to say just typical like power steering fluid or something. But that plus water, silly experiment. It's all happening this week. It's all very streamlined already. I built the entire thing in like a day. I'm just like, all right, this is how you guys are gonna run it. And if you need me, let me know because I've got other shit to do.
Well, see, you know what they need to do is they need to do this like they do like sports, like college sports. That's how you get more kids into science. You have like science teams, and whoever can layer the most ingredients or whatever, however you want to call it, and do it the fastest. Like you make it a competition.
I was just about to say, like, I'm looking at this image and I didn't even see the cherry tomato, and then I realized, oh, it's on the other side of the thing, because the left side. That would be really cool. If we could get some. I bet, like, if you did a big, massive one of this, it would be awesome. But
yeah,
you need to identify more liquids and stuff.
What if they did it like, you know how like some places when they do bingo nights or whatever, they'll do like regular bingo and then they'll have like the different themes. Like, what
Yeah.
if they did like theme layering, where like for like the Fourth of July competition, you got to make it look like an American flag or something?
Yo, that would be pretty cool. I would be into this. I think
Yeah,
like what you would do is you'd get those beads and you'd try to like shake them up a bit so that you could take like a yeah, American flag. You could that'd be pretty cool. I don't know about lamp oil though. What the fuck is lamp oil? This is just fucking what is lamp oil?
I was gonna ask, where do you even buy lamp oil
I
anymore?
don't know. Yeah, I'm like do we need oil for lamps these days? Like I don't know. It's been a long time since like I've seen like a lamp that actually uses oil. Yeah, that's a tough one.
What if
That's
they do like a so it's a combination of a sporting event, but it's also like chopped, where you just get like a basket of mystery liquids,
oh
and then you're
man.
like, oh, I gotta, calculate the densities of these, and you gotta like do experiments to find the densities, or if you just know it off the top of your head, that's like your advantage there. But they give you like some fucking obscure ass shit.
Okay, a chopped style show for this is how we make it big. I think that's way better than a bingo night or like something similar. A chopped style where they give you yeah, that's how you do this. But I feel like all of the here's my gripe is that all of these images that are like in the same style, like, oh, you got your dish soap, you got your water, you got your honey's always at the bottom of these. It's always like the same basket of like 10 to 15 liquids, never more than 15, like in some collection of images. So like I'm like, come on, we've got the technology, I mean, we've got a lot of liquids here. Maybe some of them react pretty badly with each other, like the earlier ones. But like, come on, we got to get this done.
Bro, that just makes the show more exciting. Like if you accidentally layer like two ingredients that react really poorly with each other, you just fucking explode your whole team.
My
It's high
favorite.
stakes.
I'm saying that my favorite. I don't know if it was sodium or not, but it's probably. I mean, it's probably not just on a virtue, but I've got to find. There's a there's a certain chemical. I think maybe it's solid potassium. There's a certain there's a certain solid that was always like the really fun thing to do in chemistry classes. If you get like perfectly solid sodium or potassium, I think just explodes instantly. I
I think
can't.
you're right. I think it's potassium.
Yeah, that one's like awesome. If we get some things like that to happen, that's how this show works. Get some solid, just by virtue of like how people may mix the liquids, it results in the chemical reaction that yields straight solid potassium. I think that's how we do this. But we got to get like, okay, so who are the people that you're going to get in the show? I feel like they have to be very unscientifically like inclined. Like they have to just kind of, they can't know what they're doing. That's what I'm getting at.
I mean, I think well, because like the people on Chop, they usually have like restaurants and stuff, don't they?
Yeah, that's the whole point of Chopped is like they're trying to go for the skillful like challenge. But I don't want that. I want people that don't know what they're doing to try and because someone will like figure it out during the show, and you'll have a lot of the failures, like the people that like just make really bad things that yield reactions dangerously. But that's the whole point. Like I want it to be spontaneous and fun, not like strategy and stuff. Like leave that for the people that actually watch Chopped.
All right, fair point. So let's see, who do we get as a first guest on this show? Um, you know what? I think we briefly mentioned him last week. I say get Hannibal Buress on the show, man.
That would have a lot of bleeps on it. I want to see something explode right in front of him. He'd freak out. That's the whole thing. Is like he'd at some point he'd be like, "I ain't about this shit. I ain't
All
about
right,
this shit."
you got to pick one.
Specifically without the glasses, I'm gonna say, um, I'm gonna say this in the vein of the person that doesn't know what they're doing. Like in the vein, now that you got me on Hannibal Buress, I'm gonna try and think of someone that doesn't know what they're doing. Like the guests that don't know what they signed up for. I'm gonna go and say, fuck. I can think of this. Don't cut me off. I'm terrible at this though. I'm thinking. I want to say Martin Shkreli. He's the fucking finance. He's the finance guy. That's the guy I'm thinking of. And I think he'd be funny because I think he'd be a funny guest, just overall. He doesn't know how any of that scientific shit works. But the funnier thing is that he worked in pharma. That's the whole thing, is he like went to jail for the pharma stock fraud, where he fucking destroyed investors because it was all fake shit. So then have him on with all those chemicals, and then shit explodes in front of him.
That'd be a good one.
Yeah. So anyway, I want to ask you about the thing you had on your list. It's a little. I see that you kind of starting to do something similar, where you explain things very vaguely. I think that's the best way to get good topics. But this British experiment. What sort of experiment is it?
This is a fun one. This is one of those things that I was just kind of like just browsing through some stories at work, and this one popped up, and it's something that I've been a fan of for a long time. I didn't know anybody actually was like taking it seriously, or I think I'd heard that. I think Spain was taking it seriously at one point. They might still be. I don't know. But a press release came out on September 21st, and the headline here is UK companies in a 4-day week pilot reach landmark halfway point. So basically what's going on is that there's about 70 businesses which signed up for a 6-month trial of a 4-day work week. And how do you think it went?
I think just from how the other stories I've read about it, that it actually increased productivity, like nominally, just week to week. Like with 4 weeks, they actually got more stuff done than in 5 weeks.
So yeah, you're right. It looks like it has a pretty promising results. So some of the quick numbers here. 88% of respondents stated that the 4-day week is working well for their business at this stage in the trial. 46% of respondents say their business productivity has, quote unquote, maintained around the same level, while 34% report that it has, quote unquote, improved slightly, and 15% say it has, quote unquote, improved significantly. On how the transition to a 4-day week has been, with 5 being extremely smooth and 1 being extremely challenging. 29% of respondents selected 5, 49% selected 4, and 20% selected 3. 86% of respondents stated that at this juncture in the trial, they would be extremely likely and or likely to consider retaining the 4-day week policy after the trial period. So when are we doing that? When are we getting the 4-day week?
Fucking never, bitch. That's my opinion, is I think it would work out fairly well for a lot of white collar companies, because people that work, at your office jobs, and I'm not even gonna get into the whole work from home thing. I'm just gonna state the traditional working style. I feel that if you are only working 4 days a week, that you're far more likely to work much more efficiently than in 5 days. I've worked 5 days a week at an office job. Man, you don't get fucking nothing gets done on Friday anyway. Like, Friday is a 60% at best productivity, because you all either go out to lunch or something. No one gets anything done in the afternoon. There's a lot of reasons for whatever doesn't get done on Friday. Typically, a lot of meetings happen on Friday just to pull people, like sometimes in the morning too, and that leads to it, because meetings don't help anything. Meetings are a complete negative attribute. So I could see why that would work better, and I think that if you were working a 4-day-a-week job, that you're much more likely to commit seriously to it, and not get bogged down. If you got Fridays off, man, I just think the percentage, and I know it's a very small sample size because a week is only 7 days, but if you're working 5 out of 7 versus 4 out of 7, I mean, that's a very significant change.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, and I would agree with something you were saying earlier. Not even just about like, a lot of stuff doesn't get done on Fridays because that's absolutely true anyway. But I wonder how much of that would just end up happening on Thursdays instead. But I definitely think the whole idea of working 4 days a week, like you're saying, I would have so much more energy during the time that I have. And I think most people do work better on deadlines. Like any sort of, at least like a white collar job, I guess, like you're saying. I think people would just like, I think people could get done everything that needs to get done in the work week in like 3 days, honestly. From what I've seen at my job, like, yeah, everything could happen in 3 days. Some people, I think, maybe like, I think my boss works too much. I don't know why. I get that there's a lot to do, but it's like, bro, go home. But yeah, if I only had to work 4 days a week, I would have so much more energy on those 4 days because I'd spend like my 2 days getting fucked up on the weekend and then take one day to be like, all right, now I can actually just relax today. I don't have to get that out of my system anymore. And I can't do it for 3 days straight anyway. So
Yeah,
I
agree with that.
That's about all I had to say about that one. It's just while we're on the topic of experiments, that was a good thing to pull up there.
I kind of think that the traditional thinking about it is that, oh, well, all the stuff that happens on Friday will just happen on Thursday instead. I don't really see that. I really don't see that a lot of the, typical BS would happen on Thursday just because you have less time overall. And honestly, the only way that would ever happen is if everyone knew that it was completely permanent. And I know that this test trial is not even a completely like representative of how it would be in a permanent setting, because I know it was just for a little bit, but they were working hard during it, and you could argue how much of an effect it has versus temporary versus permanent. But, if that was truly indicative of all the time, I'm not sure how a study could do that. I think that, I think it would kind of be fairly similar. It's the similar style production would happen as it does now. And I think, like you said, deadlines are, people work hard at deadlines. I mean, it happens in my work environment all the time. We have deadlines, and my advisor is very, very, very notoriously last minute, like to an insane degree that I have not ever worked with before. So I just accept that it's going to be like that now, and I'm fine with it. But I know that I'm going to work very hard those days, before we have any meetings or before he has any proposals to submit. So I like it. I would like to see it happen in a lot of the office jobs. I know that there are a lot of places where it just will not work, and that's fine. But I think it would be cool to see it trialed here at least. I just don't know the working culture would really permit it. So, the fact that you brought up Spain is funny because, bro, they don't work 4 days to begin with. Let's be real.
I just remember seeing somewhere that they actually they had some businesses that were trying it out there too. But now that I'm even looking more into this, since we're talking about it, I didn't even know that I mean, obviously I knew that people, the 5-day work week has not always been a thing. It happened at a certain point that people were like, all right, we're just, fuck it. We're not doing this fucking work in 7 days or whatever anymore. We're not working 60 hours a week. This is bullshit. I didn't know that was 1926 that became law. That's pretty recent. I mean, that's a good spot in time where it's it's recent, but it's also almost 100 years ago.
Think about it like this. they had a, like, let's just say the Industrial Revolution happened in like what, the 1820s or so. Like that's a total throw in the dark. It took 100 years for these motherfuckers to get Saturday off. Like the whole thing is that, you know, the increase of productivity capability should, you know, have at least give some back to the workers, because you don't need as much in theory, so that you can have more time off to pursue actual life goals that are not related to employment. No, it's not been the case. It's not been the case. So, you know, you think, oh, we got these fucking, you look at all these movies in the 70s that are set in the 70s and 60s. I mean, what do all these people have? These giant ass cabinets of manila folders everywhere. You know where those don't really exist anymore? The same offices that have a bunch of computers and cubicles, people working at desks. So you'd think this production that we are able to do now, you know, with just computers, might be able to have a little bit more time off. Like, maybe, please. We'll still work more than half the week, but please give us Friday. That's what we have to do, man. How sad is that? I mean, do I think it's going to take 100 years? Yeah, probably.
Well, no, that's the thing. It's already been like 100 years since we got to the 5-day work week. So like we're about on schedule to hit that 4-day work week soon. Then, right?
Yeah. Well, okay. Let's say computers were really mainline. I don't know. Let's say 2010, 2005. What do you think? Somewhere around there, like in office settings.
I would say probably somewhere after the .com bubble burst, because then everyone took it out. Like people realized you could do business online, and then it was like, oh shit, we need a lot of computers now.
So let's say 2005. I mean, we're trialing. It's definitely progress. I know things happen a lot quicker now, but it's like, you know, we've got 17 years. You know, we think we're in a pretty good capacity, like production capacity. I think we'll see how long it takes, but I don't know. It's just tough, you know. People say, oh, once Democrats have office of everything, then weed is getting legal, and that ain't happening yet. What the fuck is it? So that's why, and the whole like, what was it? Atomic weapons, or like atomic power. I mean, nuclear power is looking a lot more promising now, but that was always a very common thing in the 60s. Like, oh, nuclear reactors are going to power, and you know, the common thing is it's like, oh, it's 50 years away, or it's like 20 years away. Well, then in 20 years, they're like, it's still like 20 years away. So like, we'll see how long, but you know, the fact that it's getting trialed in Europe now, it's a good sign. I don't think it's gonna happen for them fairly soon, especially when like a recession hits, or a depression that everyone keeps talking about, and the doom fags of the financial internet keep saying that it's going to happen in 2 more weeks. You know, taking Fridays off during that is not a good look for those companies. I mean, just on a production side, you know, they're not. I think they'd be less likely to do it than if it was like booming times, you know.
Yeah, you want to know something wild though? Actually, back in 1932, apparently Senator Hugo Black of Alabama presented the Fair Labor Standards Act to Congress, which proposed a 30-hour work week, but was rejected.
What the fuck? What? Wow, they really made sure to hide that as fast as possible and never bring it up again. So wait, what was? Give me some more circumstances behind this. When was this and why? What?
This was in 1932, and apparently the proposal was it says the proposal was designed to spread work around to reduce widespread unemployment. But you know, Congress was like, wait, why would we want to do that? And in 38, they ended up passing like a revised version of the bill, which was actually where like the apparently this is where the full-time employment being defined as 8 hours per day, 40 hours a week, with a bunch of other stuff for like federal minimum wage, overtime pay, and restrictions on child labor come from.
Yeah, well, that was a good thing. The child labor one I know is a massive. Was that
Well,
was
okay, but what if the child wants to work?
okay? No, I remember that was one of the. Wasn't that just the New Deal? Like that was just the New Deal. That was part of it. I mean,
I'm sure it was. Yeah.
man, we were late to that. I keep thinking that that our laws happened like 50 years earlier than they actually did, but it's just the comparison between the worker rights of the EU and Europe in general versus America that happened 50 years later. But yeah, glad they're trialing it. Maybe it'll happen in 50 years.
This also happened in July 2021. Representative Mark Takano of California proposed a bill to reduce the work week to 32 hours. It does not say what. Oh, the bill was not passed. Okay, all right. You know what? These are the people we need to look up. It's like who are the fucks that voted against this? Those are the ones that we need to get rid of.
I don't know why we haven't already. I think we could all be in fairly easy agreement with that.
Yeah, get Jen on the phone on this one.
I think a 32-hour work week would work fairly well here. I mean, I just think it would.
Yeah,
people would be fresh on Monday more.
That's literally the 4-day work week. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, Mondays really suck today. I mean, today I felt like shit. I felt like crap. I was like, wow, no motivation. But I mean, with Friday off, and having like, half a Thursday off or, Thursday afternoon, I think you'd be a little bit more energized. I really do.
Wait, so are you saying we should get rid of Monday or Friday?
I'm saying get rid of Friday.
Get rid of Friday. Okay.
Yeah, I would say get rid of Friday. It's already just culturally the least productive day, and I think keeping Thursday would be fine. Keeping Monday culturally as the first day back would be fine. It just is what it is. No one likes Mondays.
Yeah.
That's what I would do. I mean, if you do the other way around, I don't know. I mean, most like small shops, like town shops. I mean, take Mondays off to begin with now. So like they do Sunday and Mondays off. They may keep doing that. They would, or maybe they would probably do Saturday, Sunday, and Monday off. I don't know. I'm not in that business.
No, I mean, I think you're right. Just because people are used to Sunday being the end of the week, and there's a bunch of stuff that like you'd have to completely overhaul like so many social customs if Sunday was not the end of the week.
Yeah.
Or like the first day of the week, whatever you want to call it, the end of the weekend, first day of the week.
And plus, like the companies that do the Easter Monday holiday, like, yeah, you don't want to get rid of that. Can't get rid of that. You gotta keep that shit around. It's a lot of. There's a few more Monday holidays I'm thinking of. I can't think of them off the top of my head.
Is President's Day Monday?
I think President's Day is Tuesday, or it might swap. I have no idea. This is like, who cares? I think it's time to get to some music. Music about the mid.
You said you have 3 albums this week?
So I listened to 3 albums. I did not. I want to talk about these 3 albums anyway. I listened to 2 of them were new. One of them was my album of the week I sent you. The other one was a new one that you had brought up in a previous show, and I'll actually start with that one. Okay. So this album that was brought up in a previous show by a band had a comeback, and they came back and they made a second album like on the comeback, and they're like, wait, what? This band is Duster. So I listened to the Duster, and This is their 2022 album. I want to say this came out this year, and it's called Together. It is a 3 years after their last album, which was just the self-titled. And I am going to say I am somewhat disappointed. So Duster previously, between their albums, and yes, there was a long period of time um, between their self-titled and contemporary movement. They were very, very unique sonically with each entry to their discography. And this was not. This was an extension onto the sound that had been released in 2019. So much so that I feel that it was at one point decided that a lot of the songs that are on this album were going to be a follow-up EP from their 2019. But they said, no, let's just add to it over some time, and then we'll make it an album in a few years. I literally think that's what they did with this. So, like, the songs just in general, all of them are so, like, you could just play the albums back to back and you would know. You would never ever know. And personally, I'm not a super big fan of that. I know that some bands have unique sounds and they kind of stick to their core, but not for Duster. I don't really want that for Duster. They just never were a band for that. I liked their 2019 album a lot. I liked that it was a little bit more lo-fi and that it was a little stuck to the general tempo that they had kind of kept to with the first two albums. And I liked that it was a unique sound and that it was unique to the album. This one, dog, it's the same thing. It's just like it's like album 2 of the Duster 2 era, you know? And I will say, half of this album is fairly good. The other half is not. And the first half of the album is a good one. New Directions is a solid song. Retrograde is a very solid song. Time Glitch and Escalator is very different, but it's kind of I can't make that comparison. We took an oath to not bring them up for a bit.
Okay, all right.
But I think that this album fucking cooks through Familiar Fields. This album cooks through Familiar Fields. After that, man, the cliff, it falls off. It falls off. Man, you could even probably say, like, that their 2019 album, like the 2019 recordings, were probably yeah, that's what it doesn't have. It doesn't have the recorded date on the page. That's why I'm schizo theorizing here. But I'm saying that probably I'm gonna say the first 5 songs. Escalator is a little bit of a different sound, and Familiar Fields sounds like it's fairly new. But Familiar Fields is like in my opinion, of the songs that I think are the newer recordings that they recorded afterwards, only good one. But then everything after Familiar Fields just drops off. And I'm gonna say, Drifter, Feel No Joy, and Sad Boys, the last 3 songs on this album, man, that is a pathetic fucking sad ass like playoff. Like, no, it was never like Duster was never that explicit with their sad boy indie slowcore themes. That shit is way, 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 way too on the nose. And I was thinking during Feel No Joy, I'm like, man, this shit's pathetic at this point. Like, this is such a fall off. I was fairly upset with that half. But the good stuff. Retrograde, Time Glitch, even Teeth. If you have a song that's called Teeth, that's a risk. I don't like the word teeth in the same way that people don't like the word moist because it is linguistically unpleasing. I think the word teeth makes me not feel so good. What do you think about that? What do you think about
I know there's actually I don't know if it's a song or if there's a couple different songs with the name, but there's an album with a couple of Teeth songs that I like a lot. That was by Naus From, I think that's how you say his name. It's called Seven Fingers. To collab with him and a cellist. He's like an electronic guy and does beats and stuff, and he plays piano. And that was actually one of the first things that got linked to me on a certain music forum in what they called share threads.
Yeah.
Good Teeth songs there. I've never heard anyone dislike the word teeth before, but all right, I'll stop saying it.
You don't stop saying it. Just stating my opinion. I will say that Escalator. I'm actually looking at both the RYM track listing ratings and the number of plays on Spotify. And Escalator, I'm going to say this. Escalator is belonging of being on Stratosphere. It is certainly in the same ballpark. And Escalator has like not a lot of plays. Like in the first 5 songs, the lowest number of plays is the 5th one, obviously. It has 729,000. Escalator has 375,000. And then the song immediately after it, which I will say also cooks, 817,000. So like people just fucking skip over this song. It's it's a little bit different, but that's why I'm like, I picked it up. I'm like, wait a minute. This is the good shit. Why is everyone skipping it? So the song track list ratings, they get it right. Teeth has 3.8, Escalator has 4.1, and Familiar Fields has a 4.2. What were you gonna say? Sorry.
Oh no, I was just gonna say, like, if you're going by Spotify plays, that's like the Netflix of music. So
I know.
Of course, all the like lame plebs are gonna skip over the good stuff because they just don't know, man. They don't know.
I will say also Familiar Fields is a lot more of the has a lot more vocals for sure than I don't think Escalator has any. It's one of the solid just purely instrumentals with one electronic effect where it's like a distorted pitch that's like, goes up and down with the rhythm of the song. I can't think of the exact word for it, but there's a name for that musical effect. And Familiar Fields is like one of the solid, like if I'm thinking of a song off Stratosphere, I would say probably Gold Dust, but like a bit of a newer sound. Just a little, the production quality is a little bit better just on the virtue of the time. And yeah, I really like the first half of this album. And I'm using Familiar Fields as kind of like a crossroads or like an inversion, because I swear, Familiar Fields was a different style of sound too. And man, everything, like all 6 songs after that, I could leave them. I just could leave them.
What's really bothering me is that I feel like you're right about this was probably either like written or recorded around the same time, almost definitely recorded around the same time as the other stuff, because I cannot find like a recording date for this new album.
Mm-hmm.
Why would they not put that out there if it was like, they just recorded it like last year or something?
Because it would say 2019 or 2018 to 2022. And I will go back on what I just said. Making Room is a solid half song. It is one rhythm and it is one guitar sound effect. It's good, but it's like, it's like having a meal with just potatoes. Like, come on. You gotta add some stuff to it.
That kind of sounds like, their thing though. Just like a couple of lines and maybe some light lyrics on top of that. Like that sounds like you have like half a Dusters discography right there.
I also did not like the mixing for the song. I've actually just remembered I was going to bring this up. The mixing for it is distinctly different. The vocals are even because I think it's far more shoegazy than the rest of the album is what I'm trying to say. To a point where the mixing even like just doesn't lean into it; it falls into it. And I would say Familiar Fields leans into it, and I like when they kind of just lean into it a little bit more, where you can still where the vocals are still in effect on the shoegaze, but it's like this is Making Room does not do that.
All right. Well, I was gonna say final thoughts on it.
Final thoughts.
Unless you had more to say, I don't want to cut you off.
I kind of do. I think Retrograde is a solid new age constellations, and I am making a lot of comparisons to Stratosphere songs because I really don't think that like on a songwriting basis that they've evolved past past the what works formula, and I totally get that. But when you do the same formula on the back of the same sound that you just released 3 years ago, my man, like this is like releasing Madden video games every single year, where you're doing the same thing over and over again. But
there's like a few new players this time.
Yeah, like a few new roster changes and all that. So I liked. Yeah, N was a good. I'm like skipping through and re-listening to, but N was a solid song. Time Glitch was a good song, and I mean Escalator and Familiar Fields. Those are my two favorite songs. I will say, in all, this has definitely fallen into the dreaded category of man, you should have just released an EP instead. Bombs. I'm giving it a 3. I'm sorry. I'm giving it a 3. I would have given it a 3.5 if the back half of the last 3 songs didn't make me say, "Man, this shit's pathetic." If it didn't have the sad theme, I would probably give it a 3.5. But when I first listened to it, I'm like, they cannot be doing this right now. Like, they cannot be doing this right now. Because also Moon Rome and Sleepyhead that song is ass. That song is ass, and it's kind of the same thing, but it's not it's kind of the same song title, and it's just like the really mellow and drifty kind of song. I just wasn't about it. Familiar Fields is so much better. Time Glitch is so much better. Retrograde is a slow song that isn't the sad song. And they prove they can still do these. They still, they can still write the very slow songs that don't fall into those themes. So my man, my bros, do it again. Do it better. So that's my final thoughts on that.
Do you have hope for Duster going forward? Like you're still looking forward to if they put out a new album, or is it like, if they do, they do. If they don't, they don't.
I wouldn't be that pessimistic about it. Like I still liked a solid, at least half of this album, like probably 60-ish%, which reflected in the stars. I would like to see them improve. That's kind of, I would like to see them improve, and I would like to see a new unique sound. I know that's all just pedal settings, but I mean, let's get to a new core of sound that that works in the slowcore formula, and let's ditch these melancholy songs. Like, my man, I just spent 5 days in the cloudy gloom, like after the hurricane clouds, where it just lightly rains all day long. I don't need that shit in my life, dog.
That's fair. But at the same time, like, what? I don't think I want like a happy Duster album.
No, I don't think. I mean, the songs that I was describing are I wouldn't say they're happy.
You just don't want like very like, I don't know, like did the ones you didn't like, was it more like they leaned kind of into like self-pity kind of stuff?
Man, the song called "Feel No Joy." Yeah, a little bit. Sad Boys. Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, I think perhaps a little bit of the self-pity. I like a lot of the slowcore that I like is not explicit in any of the more gloomy in any of the more gloomy themes. When it's explicit like that, I'm like, you guys aren't teenagers. Come on, stop this.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I see what you mean.
But anyway, I will say I have one short. The third one, which is not my album of the week, is a short, more of a short take or a short review. But I will say that I listened to it. This is not a new album either. This is not a rebuttal, but a returning to a previous thing that had been brought up by my previously bad old rankings of dumb self. So you had brought up Spiritualized in one episode.
Yeah.
So I re-listened to Ladies and Gentlemen, We Are Floating in Space, and I re-listened to Laser Guided Melodies. Here's a take. Brace yourself.
All right.
Sit down.
Okay.
Aside from the first and the last song on Ladies and Gentlemen, We're Floating in Outer Space, Electricity is the best thing they ever done. There it is. Right there.
Is that like the take to... I don't fucking know, man. Honestly, I listened to Ladies and Gentlemen like probably once or twice back in the day. And I remember my thoughts on that one were just basically, oh, wow, this first song is really good. The rest of it, I don't really give a fuck about it. Like, it just wasn't interesting to me. The first song is like, you know, it's got real sweet and sad and you know, good lyrics. And after that, I don't know. It just, none of it really hit me. And everyone talks about fucking Cop Shoot Cop on that album because it's a fucking 17-minute long closing track, which is the worst thing you can ever do. Never do that. Never have your album with like mostly like 3 to 5 minute songs and then make the last one your fucking 20-minute. Oh, because it's the end. No, don't do that. It's stupid. I hate it because then I just want to get it over with.
That's what like most rock bands did, like the 70s to like the 2000s, or probably to the 90s. I mean, it's a pretty good song. What the hell are you talking about? So what? You're gonna say Murray Street's last song is terrible?
I don't even fucking remember it, so probably. What's the last song on Murray Street? What's the last song there?
The last song on Murray Street was a fucking jam. It was shit. No, I was thinking of Washing Machine.
All right. So okay, that's an exception. I'll give you that one. I'll fucking give you that one.
Yeah, Diamond C. Get the fuck out of here. Yeah, Diamond C's a bad song.
All right.
Get this guy out. Get this hothead out of here.
You know what though? Did you ever listen? Now you got me on the Sonic Youth train. Did you ever listen to like the extended version of Diamond C? Which there's a fucking extended version of that song.
Okay, no, I have not listened to the extended version.
It's on like this album of B-sides, like a compilation album of B-sides called The Destroyed Room. They put it out in 2006. And it's like an extra like 5 or 6 minutes to Diamond C.
Do you think it adds anything to the song?
I don't know, probably not.
I would say that Cop Shoot Cop was like it was pretty good. I mean, I think I would just wanted to exclude it because like it was unique. You know, it's different. You know, it's the closer. You know, if you hate closers, then you hate closers, and I that's totally reasonable. It's the jam out. It's the jam out song. You know, where they just go into the noise. I thought it was okay. I thought it was pretty good. I was gonna say okay, but honestly, I disagree. I thought it was pretty good. I think, you know, when they jam out, it was really good. They have too many extended periods of just the female, like not the I guess it would be the chorus. Yeah, just too many non-jam out moments, you know. But yeah, Electricity, total jam. That's the sing in your car. That's the sing in your car song.
Marciano on a snow day, Coldplay, math rock, soda, no cocaine. I'm always surprised by the copay. Sick, once they broke open the safe. A newspaper dated March 1588. Few CDRs, couple pictures where I ain't cover my face. Make a graffiti on a VHS tape, a guapa haze, just in case. Mr. Serve On from back in the day. I've been around since long, I got a couple names. Pragmatic is the metric system, but this America might have to throw it all away in an instant. Over an insult, I turn a phrase. Incense in the foyer, granny with the cane. They wait for her to die, but till then that rent don't raise. We boil water to bathe. The place smell like rain. The eyes take a moment to adjust so you can see what's inside the cage. From your book I took a page, bell hooks. I'm squatting on stage, hoping I never took more than I gave.
But yeah, anyway, you listen to an album this week.
I barely listened to an album.
This is the gloomy week.
Yeah, I don't have time for this shit this week. So after either last episode or the one before that, where I went through like all the albums from this year that I'm excited for, or that I like didn't get to yet. For some reason, I had this idea that like at least for the next month, there's going to be something every week that I was really excited for and could really go in on and give an in-depth review for. This week, I didn't have that.
Yeah.
So I just decided to. I don't even know how. I probably was just looking through the charts, and it's like, oh, there's a Billy Woods album, and it's another Billy Woods album from the earlier album Billy Woods did this year. That was on my must get to list. So I decided to give this one a go, and let me tell you, man, this is sitting here right now with a 3.91 after about 1,200 ratings. So like realistically, I think, and of course I'm never wrong. So I think this is going to settle around like a 3.75 after it gets to it, or maybe even close to a 3.8. But man, I feel like we get like two kinds of hip hop that come out since like the mid 2010s. One, you either get like trap stuff where there's like a lot going on, like there's not a lot going on with the production, but at least a lot of drums, like a lot of really fast drums, a lot of skittering hi-hats, as Fandango Dago used to say. You get that, and then there's guys that just for the most part can't really rap over it anyway, but they kind of don't have to. It's just kind of a thing. But there's just nothing really to grab onto about those songs. So like it'll be good for a background listen every now and again, or like if you're out somewhere, it's like, all right, fine. But it's not like something I would care to like listen to in my spare time, because I can't like dig into it. Like that's the kind of stuff I want to listen to, and I go home and put the headphones on and kick back on the couch and stare out the window at the planes going by and shit. I just want something that I can like dig into. So that's one half. The other half of stuff that comes out is stuff with production that's like very, I don't want to say dense. It's not like there's a lot going on, but there's some discordant sounds going on, I guess. But there's not much drums going on. So there's even a tag that RYM has added in that, somewhere in the past year. It's called drumless, which it's a secondary tag on this album, because this one is not really. It's not like there's no drums. It's just they're very minimal. So I feel like that's the other half of stuff that comes out, is where it's like very minimal drums, maybe kind of abstract and discordant beats going on, and the guy can really rap, but it's almost just a complete inverse, where like there's still nothing to grab onto, because I've said it before. I don't know if I've said it on the show, but if not, here it is. If I have said it, I'm going to say it again. I do not care for like the bars over some dusty ass drums. I don't want it. I don't care for it. I don't understand. I understand it. I do understand it, but I don't find it interesting at all.
What are some examples of those songs?
Or
like artists that produce.
Yeah, no. The one I go back to every time on that is Illmatic. Outside of like the first song, and not like the intro song, like New York State of Mind, and Life's a Bitch. That's a good song too.
And The World Is Yours is like kind of it's good, but I feel like it's a little overhyped and overrated. But that's sort of what I point to is like the formula of some guy just going, all right, I'm going to give you bars over some dusty ass drums, and you're going to like it. And it's like, no, I'm not going to like it. And everybody's going to jerk it off and say it's really great, but like I don't care about it. So now, like, this is not exactly that, because there's a lot, there's more going on with the beats. Like, the beats here are actually pretty good, and it would make me want to, you know, at least give this another listen. But at the same time, I didn't feel like there was stuff happening, but it wasn't interesting stuff happening to me. So this is an album. It's called Church. I didn't say it yet. It's called Church. It's by Billy Woods and Messiah Musik. And Billy Woods is a rapper. Messiah Music's doing the beats. And there's a few different features on here and stuff, and whatever. I didn't care for it, man. I really didn't care for it, and I wanted to like it. I really did. But maybe it's just the fact that I like half listened to it on a tired day, and this is stuff that's just going to make me more tired. And I wasn't looking for that. You know, I was looking for like a hype album. And man, I can't even point anything out about it. That's the thing. Like, yeah, the lyrics are good and everything, but none of them really like stand out, and there's like no good hooks or anything here. So, you know, there's some cool samples going on the back half, where one of them there's like some kind of sounds like a free jazz saxophone coming in somewhere. But that's, you know, that's really it. I also, you know, another thing, I'm gonna get into this right now. If you have been rapping and are like successful or something, and your career's been going on for like 10 years, I don't want to hear about how broke you were anymore. I don't want to hear about how broke you are right now. Like, I don't want the struggle bars. I don't, just stop. Yeah. You've already done, like, you can do that when you're starting out and it's fine. But when you've been around for like 10 fucking 15 years, man, you know that meme of like the crow on stage, like telling jokes, and then someone in the crowd goes, "Get new material," and he just has the same joke written over and over again on all the cards. That's what this shit is.
I would also be frustrated with that shit, man. Like, you've had your break. I mean, Billy Woods, if he's getting this many ratings on an RYM site, you know, within a few days, I mean, he's known. There are so many more people that are way more or less known than this guy. And he's going off about, you know, struggle bars. And honestly, I was listening to some of the songs, and they definitely fall into the guy rapping over drums, let's say, but they're, you know, it's like not really drums. It's like the imitation drums. I feel like as I skip through these songs, the only ones that sound a little bit different are the ones that have the features. And of course you'd expect that. So, like, I don't know. I could see how you'd want more out of this, especially if it's a, you know, producer, you know, that is so good he has to get name dropped in the artist section.
Yeah, man. It's just
the collaboration.
I mean, I think he also just kind of does that though, because he has a few different albums where. You know, like in 2019, there was Hiding Places with Kenny, whatever. I can't see his full name. Kenny Segal. And then 2020, it was Brass with More Mother, which I don't even know if that's a rapper or a producer. I guess I don't know these guys. So I don't know if they're, I know Messiah Musik did the beats here, but I don't know about these guys on other collaborations. And like, I'm not saying this is bad stuff. You know, it's like, it's just in that category of things I just don't care about.
Yeah.
So it's hard for me to even like try and put a number on this. And it's not like I don't like Billy Woods, because I've liked a lot of, or at least a couple of albums he's done. I know I like him. I don't know, man. If I don't want to say this is a 2.5 because I feel like that's harsh.
But if you're asking,
yeah, I mean, if you're asking like, so did I enjoy this like at all? I don't know. So fuck it, I'm gonna give a tentative 2.5 on here. Could bump up to a 3, but definitely not get higher than that. And I don't know, just like when's something new gonna happen with hip hop, man? When's something new? Nothing new has really happened in like 10 years, I don't think.
Yeah, the newer. I mean, I would say that I feel like in the same way of. I mean, there's just a lot of rappers and hip hop artists that get their break and they go huge. I think the biggest problem that's facing hip hop right now is that there's very little attrition. You know, the same people that were popular 10, 15 years ago are still popular nowadays. Like, there's just got to be a little bit more. There's a quicker rate of attrition where we get new acts that, that of people that are writing new things that genuinely write a lot of innovative stuff, but it just doesn't happen. And a lot of it is the trap stuff, and a lot of it is the party music, and that kind of blends into pop music. And I kind of agree that there's just the window of unique and innovative, experimental. Because I mean, I was gonna say this has got the experimental hip hop genre on it. Dog, no.
Yeah.
No, it's not.
This is one of those ones, like I feel like the abstract hip hop tag fits, but experimental, I don't really see what's supposed to be experimental about this.
Yeah, and you think of like the stuff that is, actually experimental hip hop, and this just does not. I mean, I know experimental is supposed to not fit a genre tag. How ironic that it would be a genre tag to try and define an array of music, but I mean, it's just not as experimental. It's not. It doesn't take as many risks.
Yeah.
I don't know stylistically like what the difference is, but yeah, I can kind of agree with that. I will say that I may have made a slight contradiction from a previous episode where you were saying that a lot of it, the only stuff that sounds different is stuff with features, and this production artist is supposedly they're just creating all the same stuff. Well, I did say that about the Panda Bear and Sonic Boom collaboration. That shit sounded pretty interesting. And I mean, when you have the hip hop, the production in the background, it's supposed to be background stuff. So, I feel like you try to get a little bit more different with all of that stuff that goes on, and I'm talking about specifically songs that don't have features on, because I just don't count those in the album stylistic rating. So yeah, I don't know, man. This guy Messiah Musik, he's got to start figuring it out. But
so maybe this could be sort of like a like on the fly topic here. Is we're talking about dead genres.
Oh, I mean, we're in agreement that rock is dead, right? And that's not a bad thing. It's just there's not,
Yeah, I would agree that rock is as an entire genre is dead and has mostly been dead for. Do you want to say like just as a genre or as like the forefront genre?
I think as a genre, I feel like there's not. I mean, when would you say a genre dies? Like, I feel like it dies when it reaches far enough outside of itself that like there's just like there's no new ground left to cover. There's just people kind of picking different pieces up from things that may have happened 5 years ago or 10 years ago, and maybe putting like a fresh coat of paint on it. Like,
in that case, I would absolutely say that it's dead. There's no new spurring innovation that is really even coming out of it.
All right. Okay. So, do you think hip hop's dead? Everyone, I mean, it's always been dead. Like, everyone's always saying it's dead, but is it like actually dead this time for real?
I mean, it's tough. I mean, it's tough to say no, because just from where rock was in the 70s and 60s, where hip hop was in the 90s and the 2000s, and even partially the early 2010s, I think that everything, kind of from 2015 on, where is it? Where is the music? Where is the innovation? I don't know. I really don't know. And to go back to the rock part, I mean, as I've said before, you know, the stuff that's getting put out now is you know, all in a very similar bubble. You know, the artists that are popular now, like in even since 2020, you know, they all fit into the same Venn diagram bubble. So I mean, they're not. I wouldn't even say they're innovative. It's like it's a weird post and art rock mix, and both of those have been done before, and have been done for a lot of years. So I mean, I would say that a similar thing is happening in hip hop. Like most of whatever is innovative now is a blend of two other genres that have both individually been done for some 30 years.
So how I mean, obviously it's still like the thing that's selling the most and whatever, and that's fine. Just in the same way that like rock was selling the most for at least like 10 years after it died. Which I mean, we could debate dates and stuff on all that, but I don't know. I mean, I would say at the very latest, like mid 90s, I would say is like when it could have officially died with Nirvana, basically.
Oh, for rock.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say I would struggle to disagree. That was the last big turning point in rock music into grunge. And kind of after that, I think you had the weakness of the alt rock, like you know, whatever came after Nirvana. You know, once he died, people were kind of struggling to pick up the pieces. You know, there wasn't a whole lot of good grunge that came after his death. So you know, once you cut off the head of the snake, what else did they have left? And there weren't any like I mean, what are you gonna say that Radiohead was like the was the prominent follower? I mean, yeah, I guess. Great question mark.
Yeah, because even I think my favorite Radiohead stuff isn't like it doesn't feel like a turning point or a new thing of any kind. It's just like, oh, that's some cool stuff. Oh, all right, they're doing some electronic stuff in here too now. Okay, well, that's cool, I guess. And you know, I guess you get like post rock happening, but I still say to this day, fucking Spiderland, take out the vocals, add some strings, and that's a Godspeed song.
Yeah, I would agree with
that. So that it's not even like they were doing like something incredibly new or something. Like that shit was done in like, you know, 91 or whatever. But what did we ever get like a post rap? Like, did that ever happen? Are we still waiting for that?
I think it may be. I mean, a post rap. What would a post rap be? Would it not be? Would post rap not just be politically conscious like hip hop?
No, they've been doing that since the 90s.
Okay, yeah, that's fair.
So what? Okay,
I would feel like it would be spoken word. It would be. I think. Well, do you think it would be some sort of spoken, like post rap would probably be like spoken word? I'm not sure what the instrumentals would be.
I think you're onto something there. I mean, I think it would be a lot less. It would be a lot less rhythmic.
It turned into poetry slam. That's just what it would turn into. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's just you try to think like, what would it be after? Would be, you know, what could it possibly be that comes after? I mean, it would be so. I think it would be spoken word. I'm trying to think rhythmically how it would not be, you know, a poetry slam. That's what I'm trying to think of.
Was it Lil B? Did he do post rap?
Fucking hell. Honestly, I would say he's as close to as to it than anyone else. I would really say that it's authentic and it's genuine. I'm not sure about the volume that he released. You could also say it's Viper.
Oh shit! Okay,
that's like pretty spoken word, but it's like the vocal delivery is a lot different and it's a lot more unique. So I don't know. It's something. It's definitely different. I know that, and I don't know if a lot of people. We gotta have someone to give it widespread appeal first. Like I don't think it's gonna be. I mean, Lil B, you could argue maybe like something that he may put out. Can you think there'll be a Lil B revival?
Um,
Do you think
mean,
young
like-
people are gonna discover him at some point? Like rediscover him on the internet at some point? Like people
I don't-
rediscovered Kate Bush?
I mean, maybe, but I also don't think he's ever really going to go away.
That's a good answer.
You know, he's got 4 bolded mixtapes on him
That's a pretty. I mean, I believe that.
out of the 73 that he's put out.
He's put 4 golden ones. Oh my god. He's put out 3 this year, man. Respect the hustle.
Yeah, and fucking no one's
Frozen?
listening to him.
Look at the Frozen album art, man.
That's pretty good.
He's got weep letters on the bottom of it though.
What?
Why does he wear the mask?
Wait. Where's that? Oh, so there's Frozen and the Frozen tape. That's where I got confused.
Oh yeah. I'm talking about the 2022 one.
Yeah. Well, they're both 2022.
What's this guy's problem in freezing? Is he cold? Does he need a fucking air? Does he need a heater or something?
Yeah, this shit's 133 minutes long. God damn.
Oh, the Frozen tape.
All right, so you wanna talk about some snacks?
Oh, yeah, where I'm trying to. Oh, yeah, the snacks that I was thinking of. So recently, I have typically stayed away from most of whatever I'm just gonna say it. Whatever bougie grocery store you have near you has this section. It is the organic dry food section. You don't go to that section because these little chow bags are like $4.50, $5 for something that's inside of it. And recently, I had family in one weekend, and they wanted a healthy snack and stuff, so they picked up a bag of these. First off, I'm gonna say that they picked up 3 bags that I can think of off the top of my head. One of them is lightly fried jalapenos. The second one is lightly fried dill pickles. And the third one is very, very, they're like very crispy. They're coconut skins. So they're just like very thin slices of like coconut. And bro, I gotta say, they gotta make this shit cheaper because it's like solid. Like these are some damn good snacks. Like the one thing that a lot of people do is they throw them on salads as like as a crouton replacement. And I would totally do that for these fried jalapenos and the pickles too. Like these are pretty solid. I mean, it's like actual flavorful taste where it's not like hydrogenated oils and high fructose corn syrup and all this. Not that I don't even eat those anyway, but like it's like a dry food that doesn't like blow. And I'm like, man, I'm glad this exists. One day I'll be rich enough to afford your fancy snacks.
Yeah, so what makes them lightly fried? Like what is that distinction versus like heavily fried?
I would say the amount of wheat that they use on the outside of it's just like the actual like what's it called? Not skin. What's the word for the fried stuff? The fried flour. I don't know. The layer of like the fried like it is deep fried, but it's like very, very lightly. It's covered in oil and it's probably deep fried. But honestly, just on the basis that they don't use a lot of the wheat, keeps the calories down and keeps carbs down, and it's pretty good. Now they didn't do that for the coconut skins because like why would you do that? But those are pretty thin too, and those are honestly a super lean snack. I'll be honest. At first, I was pretty concerned because I'm not into coconut. They're really hard, but they're not bad. I kind of dig them. Like they're a different. You know, it's a beat switch for your taste buds. Like your
That's
taste,
a
you have
fucking good tagline.
yeah, it's a beat switch for your taste buds, and just like they're just like, wait, what the fuck is this? You know, from whatever else you eat, and it's pretty solid. I was a big fan of them. I gotta say they're underrated, and whoever's out there, you gotta make this shit cheaper because like I'll totally put that in salads and stuff. Like the fried jalapenos, and even the fried pickles were very good, and yeah, I was a big fan of that. I was a big fan of that. And now, conversely, I will do the segue of all time because this is a solid segue onto a photo that I took today that made me very upset. Now, I will say this photo was taken at Walmart. This photo was taken as I was leaving because I picked up one thing that is the cheapest at Walmart that I just virtue. It was on my way. I looked at this. Now there's like the section that faces the aisle of where people are walking and stuff. I sent you the picture.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god! If I did not need to see a visualization of America, this was it. This was it because I sent you the stuff that is facing the aisle are all 12 packs of Mountain Dew. Now, these are not just Mountain Dew 12 packs. There are 5 rows of different Mountain Dew flavors, of which there are probably 12 flavors. Top one, Mountain Dew Zero Sugar. Second one down, Code Red. Because obviously, I mean, you got to have a Code Red.
You got it.
Voltage, pretty good. I like Voltage personally. I think I've had it before. Been a long time since I have it, but I know it's good. Now this is where we get into the bit different. Now it's getting weird. We got the Baja Gold, which I thought was the spiked pineapple. Is it not? Is there a difference? I really don't know. So do you know the difference? Like, do you know if that's just spiked pineapple or is it Baja? Like, is there a difference between Baja Gold and spiked pineapple, which was the Taco Bell exclusive?
I don't even really remember the spiked pineapple one, if I'm being honest. But I had that Baja Gold one day. I thought it was pretty good. It's pineapple flavor, and I don't know if I can taste the Baja in it, but it's good. I recommend it.
I will then say next is the mango jam. I think it says on it's a very small text. Mango gem or something. That's where I draw the line. I'm drawing the line right there. Drawing the line. Stupid mango jam. That shit should not be a Mountain Dew flavor.
Bro, that is not even the stupidest one on this.
Oh no! I'm saying that's where I draw the line. Everything below this is terrible. Except
wait.
There's what?
Why is mango not supposed to be a Mountain Dew flavor?
It strays too far into obscurity. That's why. It's too obscure. That's where I draw the line. Everything below this just gets more obscure and stupider and brightly colored packages. And it's all looks terrible. So then, next row down, which is like one column, it's the I'm zooming in. Major melon. And the fucking watermelon has an army cap on it. Oh my god! I didn't even notice that, but it's Major Melon, as in like he's the major. It's like corporal, commander, general. Major Melon. That shit has to be a 0 out of 10. A fucking 0. Now keep in mind, 12 pack. That shit is $6. Would you spend $6 on a 12 pack of watermelon Mountain Dew? I would not. I'm also asking you.
I've tried that one. They had like a zero sugar one. I've tried that one. I kind of liked it. It wasn't like, anything I'd make a go-to, but it's kind of been the season of or at least like the year of watermelon drinks. Like Monster put out their watermelon drink a while ago, like probably last summer. Red Bull did theirs within the past year. I think Celsius has a watermelon.
Mountain Dew is like almost an energy drink. Like, it's like almost there. It's like, a mini sip. So that's fine. They get the license to do that.
So then next, we have a mystery flavor, but it is a Halloween mystery flavor, like a designed mystery flavor. And I gotta say, I love the packaging and I love the colors on this, but it's more expensive. And I will call it out. It's like the Starlight. It's like the Coke Starlight, man. Once Coke Starlight did this shit, everyone else did this stuff now. And that's what this is. It's a mystery flavor. They're gonna try and get people to talk about their stupid Halloween Mountain Dew. Now I'm upset. I'm upset about it.
Yeah, I'm not trying that shit.
So the next, we see Mountain Dew Frostbite. My man, what is the difference between Mountain Dew Frostbite and Voltage? What is this shit?
Well, have you had Frostbite? I've never had it.
No. I haven't had any of this shit except Code Red and like normal Mountain Dew and Voltage.
Yeah, I don't know what Frostbite's even supposed to, is it shark flavored?
My theory is that Gatorade has a dark blue and a light blue. And the dark blue is like a berry flavor, and the light blue is like, I don't know, ocean flavor, or it's called Glacier Freeze. Honestly, it's a very good flavor of Gatorade, but like, I don't know. I don't know what this is. I think it's stupid. They have two blue flavors. Sort it out. Fix your shit. Next, I'm appalled. I'm appalled by this shit. It's Mountain Dew Spark. I don't know what this is. I've tried to figure out what this is. I don't know. I'm looking at it. There's no constant color. This is like, this could be rainbow flavored for all I know. Like, there's a lemon on the side of it. It's like you look at an object and you struggle to find out what it is. And I'm having this problem here.
This is the part of the show where I start to reflect on my life choices and how I got to where I am today, because I've also tried this one. It's a raspberry lemonade flavor. It's okay.
Honestly, that sounds a lot better. They should have just had a raspberry and a lemon on it.
You can see raspberries on there.
Yeah, well, I couldn't figure that out before. Who are these people?
Right,
There's like chasing a guy? Spark?
Yeah. I don't know why it's called Spark.
Why is this Spark? You would think they'd, Voltage. Why? Oh, we're going to stick to the electricity theme. Spark. Is it good?
It was okay, but it was like, was it something I would purposely go out of my way to get, or like would I even buy like a fucking 12-pack of it? No.
Yeah. Okay. I would try like one, but I would not pay for it. Like, I got to get this shit for free. Then I would try this. Moving on.
Here's the one. Here it is.
This is the final boss. This has been garnering online attention too. People have called out the United States of America for this. This is the Mountain Dew Flaming Hot Cheetos lime additional flavor, and I'm appalled. I'm once again appalled that this exists. I'm gonna ask, have you tried this?
Again, this is the part of the show where I reflect on my life choices and how I got it. But no, but this one wasn't like I didn't buy it. Okay, so I get points for that.
Okay, yeah.
This was just at my last job. Somebody brought a can in one day. I'm not gonna say her name, but shout out to her. It's not really like flaming hot. Like it doesn't taste hot. Some people kind of thought it did. I didn't. It was a very undefined flavor for me. Like, I could not even tell you what it tastes like, because it didn't compare to anything else. But it was just weird, dude. I don't know why they're still selling it. Like, I don't know who's buying it.
Do you think that the sales that they gained from that were worth the reputation loss?
I'm sure it was, dude. I'm sure they're Mountain Dew, because they're like the Taco Bell of soft drinks. So they're always putting out new limited edition flavors, and now I guess they're getting a little more daring with it, and they got some good press out of it. No press is bad press.
That's true. They got people talking about this. This was definitely in the zone of too crazy to even now be like, just thrown away by the media.
Mm-hmm.
And then the one last one I see is like a one-off. I don't know. I want to say that's Major Melon, but zero.
Yeah, that's it.
I'm very shocked that exists. That's all I have to say about that. Like, for these crazy flavors, they don't bother making a zero because you're fat as shit enough to be drinking it anyway. Why are you going to drink a zero?
You know how much it bothers me, though, that, like, if I could get a Code Red zero sugar, dude, I would love that. But now, you ever look at how much sugar is in one of those regular ones? Look on the back of the 20-ounce bottle. I'm like, this is 126% of my daily added sugar. Who approved this?
I'll be honest. You remember, maybe it was a story, I want to say like 2018, maybe give or take a year, but the FDA had approved a rating for the daily sugar intake, and every company at that point was going to be like, yeah, we're fucked. We're just, because prior to that, there was never a recommended amount. But after enough people getting upset that there wasn't, they finally put one in. And, I think it's fairly realistic. That I don't think they're ever off the base on any of the things. But, every time you look at it, sugar is going to be like some 60% plus of your daily intake on any of the stuff that already exists. Because they're not going to change the flavor. That's the whole thing, is Americans are very like consistent to flavor, and they'll buy the Coke Zero specifically. They won't buy any of the cheaper stuff. Like, has to be Coke Zero. That's just an example. And it's insane. I'm just shocked that they made a zero sugar of only Major Melon. Like, I would probably rather try almost every other flavor on this rack than Major Melon. Like, that's the one that I would probably pick last. I would definitely choose Spark. I would definitely choose the mystery flavor. And honestly, I would just choose any of the other ones. Like, honestly, no, except the Flamin' Hot. I forgot about that. That was panned out of my screen at the moment. Yeah, no, I would not pick the Flamin' Hot. That would be dead last. It's every time. But yeah, I walked by this stand, if you can call it as such, as I'm walking to check out, and I was upset. I just see just look at this image. Look at how, like, the amount of vibrant colors there are. Like, this is insane. This gives you a heart attack, but for eyes, like an eye attack. Does it not?
Yeah, I mean, I remember probably, somewhere around 10 years ago or something, maybe even earlier than that. Maybe there's some shit I read about a long time ago about something that happened even longer before that. But that was something that, like, a lot of cereal companies got into trouble for, was they were doing a lot of advertising with, like, bright colors and cartoon mascots, and you get kids on that stuff, and then they're eating unhealthy, and then they develop that palate for just intense amounts of sugar and stuff. So I think they had to stop doing some of that. But it's the same thing with this. Like, it's all these just bright colors designed to, catch people's eyes, and kids are going to be affected by that more than anybody else.
I think their biggest gripe was the cartoon mascots, especially if you use humans, because they have it's scientifically proven that they have a higher, like, they're more willing to believe, a human, just because, they have parents and they listen to their parents. So they, listen to humans more. And that was the big, right? Like the Lucky Charms guy. And I remember he was a big part of it, the Lucky Charms guy, because he was a nice, happy mascot for kids to get addicted to corn syrup for.
Yeah. What is the? I know he's a leprechaun. What is his name? Does he have
Oh,
a
I have
name?
no idea what his name is. Lucky? I don't know. I'd say Lucky. But they were in the commercials, man. And Tony the Tiger. I know he wasn't human, but Tony the Tiger was like another big one.
Yeah.
They didn't go after the Cheerios guy one because the Cheerios is like, I mean, it's just like literal just wheat. So
There's no guy on Cheerios.
is there not a bird?
No.
Oh, maybe I'm thinking
wait.
of yeah. Is it? There's not a bird.
Honey Nut Cheerios had the bee, right?
Yeah. Okay. No, it was the bee then. That's what I'm thinking of.
That's some good shit though. Honey Nut Cheerios, man. I haven't had them in so long.
I haven't had all that cereal in so long. Every time my brother still has cereal, so whenever I go to my mom's place, I have my one bowl of cereal like per 8 months, and I'm like, yeah, this is enough. I drink enough milk and my stomach gets bloated. I'm like, yeah, no thanks.
Yeah, I mean that's basically why I stopped buying cereal in the first place. It's because like I'll have a craving and then I'll eat like one bowl of cereal one day, and then like after that I'm just like, shit, I don't want cereal right now. Like that's so much work. I gotta pour it in there, and then I gotta pour the milk, and then I gotta wait for it to get to like just the right consistency, and then I have to eat it within like 10 minutes, or it's garbage at that point.
Yo, some garbage Cinnamon Toast Crunch. That's a bomb. I love that shit.
Really?
Oh yeah, yeah, man. So garbage soggy Cinnamon Toast Crunch. It's like you said, 700% of your daily sugar intake. But yeah, that shit's cash.
No, dude, I can't support that. I can't get into the fucking slight like the soggy cereal. I can't do it. There's an exact cutoff point for me. I'm not, maybe that's what I need to do, some scientific experiments. I want to find out exactly like when a cereal gets too soggy for it to be palatable to me, but that's something I just can't. It's like an instinctual thing, right?
I know what cereal you should use for that.
What?
Chocolate Fruity Pebbles. If you get those, that's like if you get the perfect slush consistency of the chocolate Fruity Pebbles and stuff, that's a solid mushy cereal to have. If it does definitely get to water like milk logged, but that's a good mushy cereal.
I can't support it. If I was the president, you'd be going to jail just for that statement.
He had some mushy cereal to the gulag with you.
That's absolutely gulag worthy.
Sitting next to a guy in the gulag that freaking like serial killer. It's like, oh, what'd you do? Had some fucking cereal, bastard. I did want to get back. Got a third album. This is an album of which I have not rated this in a long time. Well, I can kind of say that. This album is 66 minutes long by a group. Wouldn't say a band, a group called Death's Dynamic Shroud. They put out an album this year called Darklife that has blown up. And right now it's got about 2,500 ratings in about 2 weeks. And the tags on this are glitch pop, vapor, and then a lot of subgenres, post-industrial. I don't know what that means. Glitch, Plunderphonics, progressive electronic. I will say there are three tags that belong here. I don't know why there's so many tags. I really don't. Like, I don't think that this album is vaporwave at all. I don't think that this is synth pop. It's far too off the beaten path for it to be synth pop. The three tags that belong here are glitch pop. I mean, I guess glitch, whatever, fine, throw in glitch. But then Plunderphonics and progressive electronic. This is a big electronic mess of an album.
Can I ask really quickly, when did vapor just become a genre? Like
A main genre.
But
Yeah.
when was there even an idea of just like vapor? Like I remember vapor wave, but when did we just get vapor?
I pulled up vapor. Now I'm trying to find vaporwave. I opened it in a new tab. What the hell? But vapor looks like it peaked in, it says it peaked in 2015 and 2016 as far as number of releases. Vaporwave, when you pull up that genre, looks like it peaked. Honestly, these are the same genre. I don't know why they're two different. They have the exact same, years active. Like, there really is just, you could mirror them over themselves. And it says ever since 2015 and 2016, it's died off. Honestly, I'm surprised that Future Funk is not in this, because you can make the argument. I would say it's more Future Funk than Vaporwave, like, certainly. But this band has been around for a long time, or this group, and they've released stuff since 2015, and they did a lot in 2014 and 2021. There's a big gap in between, like, where they were dropping a lot of stuff. And I actually listened to one of their albums before. Classroom Sex Tape in 2016.
What?
Yeah. That's a thing. Sending that to you now. And I listened to that, and that was fucking terrible. It was really, really bad. So I did not know I listened to them until now. That was very vaporwave heavy, and that shit was just really, really bad. So I actually didn't know I listened to them before, but now, 6 years later, here I am again. Here I am again, listening to this album that came out 2 weeks ago. It has very high highs. It has very low lows. I don't know what to give this album. I'm literally dumbfounded. I have no idea, because you can say, like, oh, it's you can average rate your your songs, and like, oh, you come out with some aggregate like 3.2 or 2.8 and say that it would be a 3. Like, this bends, that's 2D thinking. That's the 2D plane. This shit is like a circle, like the Interstellar, Fucking, this bends the traditional rating. Like, maybe you have a 2x2 or like an XY plane, and on the X axis you have quality, and the Y axis you have daringness, or like, I would say daringness, or like, what's the word? Effort, like putting stuff in. This would be this is like not on an island per se, but it is not a crowded area. This is very out there. It's got a lot going on. I will say that Judgment Bolt and Messe de E102, I don't know why it's called that. That's so stupid. But Messe de E102, those songs, they're cook. They cook a lot. They're cooking a lot. They cook a lot, man. Those songs, Neon Memories is a bit slower, and that's got a little bit of higher rating, because I don't know why, but there's a few songs on here that are cooking, and I mean that in the electronic, like, I don't want to call this like an electronic mashup, like a chip tune that is reminiscent of like a Namaguchi or something, but I get a lot of the same. Like, this is I'm trying to think of the word, not a collaboration, like trying to think of the specific word where it just everything comes together. It's not like a masterpiece because that's like a that's like a quality term.
Like a collage.
Yeah, like kind of a collage. Like it feels like it's a career, like a best. It feels like it's a career, but I mean they go all over the place in this album. And there's a few slow songs that are like just really boring that offer absolutely nothing. And then there's songs like Fade Persona that are just so much different than a lot of stuff that I've listened to recently in a good way. And I'm just dumbfounded. I'm really just left dumbfounded. And I know that it's 66 minutes long and that it would be tough to get you to listen to it. But this is one that like just threw me. It just definitely threw me. Another like slow bad song is Where Does It Come From? I mean, like it's sandwiched between two really good songs. Like Fall For Me is all over the place again. It's just like, I mean, trying to describe the electronic mashups of just so many things going on. It's tough. It's very tough to describe it. I will say one thing in the comment box that that I thought jokingly was a very good descriptor of the album in a somewhat like post-ironic way. I'm sending it to you now, shit. But it was from a couple days. It was from the September 29th. It just says, "This is the VDC of the 2020s." No cap. I'm like painfully laughing at that one. I'm painfully laughing at it because I can see what he's trying to describe, but I don't like that he's describing it that way. You know?
I mean, I feel like if you're putting no cap at the end of this, like you
you
weren't there for VDC in the first place. Like I hate this. I hate this person.
I know, I hate him too. I want to believe that he knows what he's doing by saying this. But if he doesn't, that is a very, very painful comment.
Honestly, you have way too much faith in the random users of this website.
No, I totally agree too. Like I think it's like a 5% chance, and that's even pushing it. Like there's a 95% chance he's being completely unironic, but I mean, I liked a lot of parts about this album, and I disliked a fair amount of this album. Probably like a solid between around a third. Throw a dart at 1/3, and you may hit it. But yeah, it was different. It was the first different album I've listened to in a while, and that's a good thing. I will say that is a good thing because I did not want to listen to another Polish demo of whatever the fuck they're recording and deciding to put on the internet. But yeah, this was out there. I don't know what I'm rating it. I still don't know if I'm going to rate it because I definitely have listened to albums before and thought that and just never rated it because I don't think that anything gives it credit. Like I think a 2.5 is a bit low. I think 3 is like maybe somewhat insulting, but that's where it would probably fit if you forced me, gun to my head. But I don't want to rate it a 3 because there's a lot of work that went into this, and I think I don't know, maybe it's a 3.5, but it's not. It probably wouldn't be above that. I'd have to listen to it a bit more. I have listened to it 2.5 times so far.
Well, somebody else also said this is still the most mind-blowing album I've listened to since VDC. So I don't know, maybe there is something to it, but I was also just gonna say I understand what you're saying about like, you can't just take the good and take the bad and try and average this out and come up with a rating based on that. because sometimes it's just, it's a thing of like, you don't want to like take away too many stars for the bad if the good is really good. If you're still like, okay, this is an interesting and definitely a worthwhile listen, then you can't just average it out to like a 2.5 because half of it's great, half of it's terrible.
Yeah, I just don't think a number does this album justice and describes it in a sufficient manner. It just feels like, I mean, even if you don't like a third of the songs, it just feels like it just feels solid. Just a lot of it feels really good, and a lot of it's a little bit different. A lot of the experimental songs, I was like, not a lot of them, like a few of them, I was like, this like maybe sounds a little bit too much like stadium rock or something in certain moments. Like in a very like influenced at the very max. Like, not that it is stadium rock, just that it has stadium rock influence, but it hits a lot of corners, and it's a very wide album. And yeah, I enjoyed listening to it. It's definitely tough to rate on on a first day. Maybe I'll give a rating to it next week. Maybe I won't. But yeah. Oh man, that's a terrible curve.
Yeah, that's the curve of that.
That's a curve of. Sorry, go on.
That's the person that posted that comment that you just posted. That's their curve. So their opinions are garbage.
Yeah. That's a bad curve. That's a curve of someone that made their account in like 2021. But they have like, I mean, that's like what 3,500 albums. So like, my man, stop.
Yeah, this is
What are the 10 albums that they have as a 0.5?
I'm not even looking at that quite yet. What I'm interested in is how many items do they rate per day? And okay, no, they got most of they do a lot of singles too.
Oh wow!
So that's probably where their count blew up from. But I'm sorry, what did you ask? What were their 0.5?
Oh, I looked at I'm looking at their 0.5s now. I will say, interestingly enough, he put in a speech from Adolf Hitler.
See, why would you even like rate like what? It's fucking stupid, dude. Is that supposed to be a statement of some kind? Like, oh, I'm set. Like,
I'm actually gonna go to the page of the Hitler speech now. It's way more interesting. What's the reading on this? Oh my god! So they have track listing. I got the track listing ratings, and so there's a part A and a part B. Part B has a perfect 0.5 from 13 ratings. Part A has a 0.54, which makes me think that one of those 13 ratings just gave it a 1. It's like, this isn't that bad. This isn't that bad. Also, what the issues, 1974 archival NSBM Nazi material. So it's a genre as a speech. The descriptors: propaganda, nationalism, manic, monologue.
Oh, yeah.
Some of the reviews in here are going to be solid.
Some are okay, but at the same time, it's like, these people are just, this is just some joke reviews. I like Armed Roomba. They did a clever one here. I can respect that.
Adolf Hitler 2000. His most accomplished album. Yeah. But anyway, that I did look at the reviews in the rating or the comments from the Dark Side album. And I mean, it's just the new wave of the RYM. Like, everyone's slobbering over it as much as they possibly can. Granted, I mean, 2,500 ratings in 2 weeks is pretty solid. Like, I mean, I would expect it to level off at like, it's actually got more 4.5s than 3.5s. I'm going to say it levels off at like 3.7 the lowest, but it's gonna go higher. It's gonna be higher than that. I would even struggle to say that it's maybe somewhere between 3 and 3.7, or 3.7 and 3.75.
Yeah, I mean it's also front page right now. It's like it's the first review on the front page, so it's getting some traffic from that.
Okay, I did not even know that. I actually found it from the chart of 2020. I needed to find something that had a lot of ratings like recently, so that makes sense. But yeah, those are my, let's say, my final thoughts on this album is that it's worth a listen. I think if you skip the slow songs to cut down on the total length, and that would probably, if you did that, I mean, you would cut off 4 minutes, 3.5 minutes, and 2.5 minutes. So, I mean, that's about 10-ish minutes, maybe 9. So then you get a 55, 56-minute album. It's a little bit more manageable, but I mean, it's not the golden spot, but it's a good background. I mean, if you could get a background music time, somewhat worth it.
I'm gonna listen to just the first song, and if the first song isn't good, then I'm
okay. Could you listen to Mess? No, because that'd be the best song first. Whatever.
No, just the first song.
All
if
right.
it's not good, then I don't know, man. I don't know.
Yeah, that's fair. Well, I would say that's a good note to end on. Congratulations.
The fucking rare positive note.
Congratulations. Insert a cheering sound effect with the clapping. And hell yeah. Cheers to making more money.
There we go. Yeah.
But then that is going to do it. This has been the weekly drive-by. Netherlands is a good country. Please